Let's consider an essential reflection on the choices we make daily, particularly those related to the gifts we decide to accept into our lives. Often, these gifts come laden with meanings and energies that transcend the material realm. Therefore, carefully discerning what we allow into our space is not merely a matter of preference but a practice of wisdom and personal protection. Life, as we well know, is a constant flow of decisions. In each choice, there's an opportunity to shape our future, influence our environment, and define the course of our journeys. When addressing the topic of gifts, we're not only referring to physical objects but to the various forms of energy they may represent. Every item that enters our home carries with it a vibration, an impression that can affect our well-being and the harmony of our abode. Considering wisdom in gift choices isn't about promoting a state of constant suspicion but cultivating an awareness of how these choices resonate with our values and life ideals. It's understanding that we're not just accumulating goods but also energies and symbolisms that these goods carry with them. Wisdom here is thus a shield and a tool that enables us to select only that which positively contributes to our growth and inner peace. Thus, by equipping ourselves with this wisdom, we're not spreading fear but rather strengthening our ability to choose with consciousness and discernment. We're protecting ourselves from external influences that may not align with our aspirations or that may disturb our tranquility. It's a way of affirming our autonomy over the space we occupy and the energy we choose to surround ourselves with. Therefore, each accepted gift should be seen as a symbol of respect for our own essence and a conscious step towards maintaining an environment that truly reflects who we are and what we aspire to be. This act of choice becomes a reflection of our own being, an echo of our soul in the material world. I invite you, then, to reflect on this. Every object, every gift received, is a small stone added to the mosaic of our lives. What stones do we choose to adorn our sacred space? And how do these choices shape the sanctuary of our existence? Advancing in our reflection on choices and the wisdom involved in the process of accepting gifts, it's essential to address the role of intuition. Intuition is like an internal lighthouse, a compass that seldom loses its north, guiding us through the mists of appearances and circumstances. When we speak of gifts that disturb this intuition, we're talking about an almost tangible sensation that something isn't right. Imagine, for a moment, that a gift is offered to you. At first glance, it seems harmless, perhaps even charming. However, something within you hesitates. There's a subtle discomfort, an anxiety that cannot be easily explained. This is your intuition sending a clear signal. It might be the energy of the item, the intentions of the giver, or even something deeper and less tangible that resonates poorly with your being. This is a crucial moment to heed this internal signal. Listening to intuition doesn't mean succumbing to irrational fear or superstition. On the contrary, it's about recognizing an evolutionary tool that we all possess, a defense mechanism tuned not only for our physical survival but also for our psychic and spiritual harmony. Trusting intuition is, therefore, safeguarding oneself from energies and situations that could destabilize this delicate balance. When we decline a gift that disturbs our intuition, we're doing more than just turning down an object. We're asserting our right to maintain an environment that sustains our integrity and serenity. We're choosing what kinds of energy we allow into our personal space and, by extension, into our lives. It's important to note that this process of listening to and honoring our intuition requires courage and self-awareness. It requires us to be in touch with our inner selves, to discern between mere momentary discomfort and what is genuinely harmful to us. This discernment is cultivated through ongoing reflection, meditation, and the practice of being fully present in our own lives. Therefore, when faced with gifts that trigger this intuitive response, we should see it as an opportunity to reaffirm our values and our understanding of ourselves. Each decision made from this place of strengthened intuition not only protects us but also educates us about our own nature and how we interact with the world around us. In conclusion, intuition is one of the most precious gifts we possess. It is subtle, yes, but incredibly perceptive. Learning to listen to and trust this internal whisper is an essential step in the journey of living a more conscious and authentically aligned life with who we truly are. So, when facing the next choice of accepting or declining a gift, remember to listen not only with the ears but with the heart and soul. Continuing our reflection on gift choices and their influence on our personal energy, it's imperative to address a particularly potent category: items of worship or occultism. These objects, often imbued with deep spiritual meanings and intense practices, carry an energy that can be as vibrant as it is disruptive. These items, from talismans to artifacts used in rituals, are not just simple gifts, they are bearers of accumulated spiritual charge that resonates with the practices and intentions of the traditions from which they emerge. When coming into contact with such objects, it's essential to ask ourselves, is this energy in harmony with our own values and beliefs? The influence of these objects in the environment cannot be underestimated. They can subtly or palpably alter the energetic balance of a space, affecting the emotional and spiritual well-being of those who reside or frequent it. Therefore, awareness of the nature of these objects is essential. This is where wisdom and deep reflection should guide our choices. For those who do not share the beliefs or practices from which these objects derive, their presence can create spiritual dissonance. One might feel a strangeness, discomfort, or even an unexplained disturbance. In these cases, keeping these items may mean compromising the very essence of the space intended to be safe and welcoming. It is therefore prudent to consider refusing such gifts when they do not resonate with our personal beliefs. This decision does not reflect a judgment on the validity or value of these other spiritual traditions, rather, it is a recognition that each space is a reflection of the energies and values of those who inhabit it. Preserving the integrity of this space is an act of self-respect and respect for one's own spiritual journey. Thus, when faced with the decision to accept or decline an item of worship or occultism, we should ask ourselves, does this object support and enrich my energy and spiritual path? Does it reflect and respect the vibrations I have chosen to cultivate in my home and in my life? If the answer is negative, it may be wise to let this gift pass, choosing to maintain the harmony and authenticity of our environment. This exercise in discernment is not just a practice of self-awareness, but an affirmation of our own values and sovereignty over the space we occupy. It reinforces the idea that we are the curators of our own lives, consciously choosing what we allow into our world, thereby creating a sanctuary that truly represents and supports us on our journey. Continuing our reflection on gift choices and their influence on our personal energy, it's imperative to address a particularly potent category: items of worship or occultism. These objects, often imbued with deep spiritual meanings and intense practices, carry an energy that can be as vibrant as it is disruptive. These items, from talismans to artifacts used in rituals, are not just simple gifts, they are bearers of accumulated spiritual charge that resonates with the practices and intentions of the traditions from which they emerge. When coming into contact with such objects, it's essential to ask ourselves, is this energy in harmony with our own values and beliefs? The influence of these objects in the environment cannot be underestimated. They can subtly or palpably alter the energetic balance of a space, affecting the emotional and spiritual well-being of those who reside or frequent that environment. Therefore, awareness of the nature of these objects is essential. This is where wisdom and deep reflection should guide our choices. For those who do not share the beliefs or practices from which these objects derive, their presence can create spiritual dissonance. One might feel a strangeness, discomfort, or even an unexplained disturbance. In these cases, keeping these items may mean compromising the very essence of the space intended to be safe and welcoming. It is therefore prudent to consider refusing such gifts when they do not resonate with our personal beliefs. This decision does not reflect a judgment on the validity or value of these other spiritual traditions, rather, it is a recognition that each space is a reflection of the energies and values of those who inhabit it. Preserving the integrity of this space is an act of self-respect and respect for one's own spiritual journey. Thus, when faced with the decision to accept or decline an item of worship or occultism, we should ask ourselves, does this object support and enrich my energy and spiritual path? Does it reflect and respect the vibrations I have chosen to cultivate in my home and in my life? If the answer is negative, it may be wise to let this gift pass, choosing to maintain the harmony and authenticity of our environment. This exercise in discernment is not just a practice of self-awareness, but an affirmation of our own values and sovereignty over the space we occupy. It reinforces the idea that we are the curators of our own lives, consciously choosing what we allow into our world, thereby creating a sanctuary that truly represents and supports us on our journey. Delving even deeper into our discussion on the influence and meaning of the gifts we choose to accept, we encounter a particularly complex and challenging dimension: the rewards of iniquity. These are gifts or gains obtained through unethical means, carrying with them a load of negative energy capable of significantly disturbing our peace of mind. Ethics presents us with a code of conduct that goes beyond legality or social norms. It touches the essence of what we consider fair and right. When an item is acquired or given through questionable means, it is not only imbued with the energy of those who handled it but also with the circumstances of its acquisition. This may include exploitation, deception, or other forms of injustice. Accepting such gifts can inadvertently introduce dissonance into our personal and spiritual spaces, disrupting the moral balance we strive to maintain. Therefore, it is of paramount importance that we be diligent and critical regarding the origin of the gifts we accept. Aligning our gift choices with our moral principles is not just an act of self-preservation but also a statement of our values. By consciously refusing items that are products of unethical practices, we are reaffirming our commitment to integrity and strengthening our own energy field against negative influences. Here, the issue is not just about the physical nature of the gift, but about its deeper meaning and the reverberations of its history. An object that is the result of dishonest gains carries with it that history and energy, regardless of its appearance or function. The negative energy associated with these objects can manifest in various ways, from a feeling of discomfort to more tangible impacts on our emotional and spiritual health. In this context, choosing not to accept a gift knowing of its dubious origin is an exercise in discernment and ethics. This choice reflects not only a concern for the physical environment but also for the moral and spiritual environment we cultivate. It is an act of self-respect and respect for the principles that guide our existence. In summary, when dealing with so-called rewards of iniquity, we are called to exercise deep and considered judgment, guided by the understanding that every object that enters our life should be a source of positive energy, not a reminder of moral transgressions. Thus, each decision made reinforces the sanctuary of integrity we seek to build around ourselves, ensuring that our peace of mind and energy remain pure and untainted by the shadows of the external world. Continuing our dialogue on the conscious choices we make regarding the gifts we accept, it is crucial to address those items that threaten our personal integrity. More than mere physical objects, some gifts carry implicit demands that may compromise our moral and ethical values. These are not mere items, they are tests of our character strength and fidelity to the principles that guide us. Personal integrity is the foundation upon which we build our lives, shaping our interactions and decisions. When faced with gifts that require a deviation from our ethical conduct, we confront a profound dilemma. These may be attractive items, lucrative offers, or opportunities that promise immediate benefits, but at a significant moral cost. Choosing to accept such gifts may offer temporary material gains but erode our ethical core, the part of us that upholds our self-esteem and self-respect. Refusing offers that compromise our integrity is therefore a demonstration of strength and authenticity. It is an affirmation that our worth is not determined by what we possess or the advantages we can obtain but by the quality and consistency of our character. When we choose to maintain our integrity, we are not only protecting our moral essence but also sending a clear message about who we are and what we value. This decision to refuse gifts that require an ethical compromise is an act of spiritual and moral self-defense. It is about recognizing that every choice we make leaves a mark on our lives and the fabric of our personal reality. Allowing compromising items into our space can trigger a chain of events that alters our perception of ourselves and diminishes our ability to act according to our deepest values. Furthermore, in making such decisions, we are cultivating an environment where honesty, transparency, and respect are valued above all. This not only benefits us individually but also serves as an example to those around us, reinforcing the idea that integrity is non-negotiable. Therefore, when faced with the temptation to compromise our principles for material gains, we must remember the lasting value of integrity. This value transcends the immediacy of material benefits and sustains our peace of mind and self-esteem. By refusing such offers, we reaffirm our commitment to a way of life that respects ourselves and others, strengthening our path toward a future where integrity is the true measure of success. Now, delving into an even more intimate and delicate territory, let us turn our attention to items that evoke painful memories. These objects, saturated with the emotions of past experiences, have the potential to anchor our energies to moments we may prefer to leave behind. They are like silent ghosts, residing in our physical and emotional space, constantly reminding us of periods of sadness or trauma. It is essential to recognize that while some objects have the power to transport us to happy moments, others may tether us to cycles of pain and regret. When such items are part of our everyday life, they can hinder our personal growth and undermine our happiness. They are present, perhaps not for the joy they bring, but for the difficulty we encounter in letting go of them. In this context, releasing these objects becomes a significant act of self-care and renewal. Consciously deciding to remove these items from our space can be seen as a form of healing, an emotional cleansing that allows new energies and experiences to flourish. This process is not merely physical but deeply symbolic, representing the choice not to let the shadows of the past define our present or our future. Making this choice is not trivial. It requires courage to confront the emotions tied to these objects, to acknowledge the pain they represent, and then to decide that we will not allow this pain to continue influencing our lives. This act of release is also an act of personal empowerment. It is affirming that we have control over our environment and what we choose to allow in it. By parting with these items, we are creating space not only in our homes but in our hearts and minds for new possibilities. We are paving the way for healing to occur, for new memories to be created, memories that reflect who we are now and who we aspire to be. It is a form of renewal and rejuvenation, allowing light to enter where there were once shadows. This process of discarding items with painful memories does not mean forgetting the past but choosing not to dwell in it. It means recognizing that while past experiences have shaped who we are, they do not need to define our future. In this act of letting go, we find true freedom, the freedom to move forward, to grow, and to allow joy to fill the spaces that suffering once occupied. So, in considering the objects in our lives, we invite you to reflect on the emotional impact they have. Let each choice to keep or release an item be guided by a vision of well-being and renewal, cultivating an environment that truly sustains your journey to happiness and fulfillment. Advancing in our reflection on the objects that permeate our lives and the impacts they have on our emotional and spiritual well-being, we now come to items of lineage with negative attachments. These are inherited objects that carry more than simple sentimental or historical value. They bring with them the energies of conflicts, disagreements, or negativities that may have marked previous generations. These items, often kept out of respect or tradition, can have a subliminal yet powerful influence on our lives. They can be hidden sources of discord or discomfort, perpetuating cycles of negative energy that bind us to a troubled past. It is crucial, therefore, that we question the real need and benefit of keeping such objects in our environment. Identifying these items often requires an investigation of our own emotions and reactions they evoke. It may be a process of introspection, where we examine how we feel physically and emotionally in the presence of these objects. Do we feel an inexplicable sense of discomfort, sadness, or irritation? These may be indications that the object in question is charged with energies that are not conducive to our environment or our emotional health. Once identified, the challenge is to decide on the release of these objects. Letting go of lineage items can be particularly difficult, as it involves not only personal but also familial issues. However, it is essential to recognize that breaking these negative attachments is a fundamental step to interrupting old cycles of negativity and making space for new energies and experiences. Releasing these objects does not mean denying our history or dishonoring our ancestors. On the contrary, it can be seen as an act of healing, both for ourselves and for our ancestral line. It is a way to resolve and pacify the energies that have been, until now, passed down from generation to generation. By doing so, we not only free ourselves from old burdens but also offer our descendants a fresh start, free from the shackles of the past. Moreover, in choosing to release these items, we are making a powerful statement about our own well-being and personal growth. We are choosing to live in an environment that nurtures our mental and spiritual health, one that reflects our conscious choices rather than the impositions of a past to which we no longer belong. In summary, as we navigate the complexities of the objects we inherit, it is essential that we maintain the courage and clarity to make choices that support our personal journey and our pursuit of genuine well-being. Breaking free from cycles of negativity through the conscious release of lineage items is an act of renewal and respect for ourselves and for future generations. As we conclude this profound journey through the meaning and impact of the objects we choose to incorporate into our lives, we highlight the crucial importance of discernment and intuition. These two pillars guide us to make choices aligned not only with our immediate desires but with the deeper values we aspire to cultivate in our personal spaces and existence. Discernment is a skill refined through experience and continuous reflection on the consequences of our choices. It allows us to see beyond appearances and understand the true implications of the gifts we receive and the objects we keep. In turn, intuition serves as an internal compass, a voice that, albeit subtle, whispers truths about the energetic compatibility between us and the objects that surround us. Using these tools to guide our decisions means choosing to live intentionally, where each object in our presence is a conscious reflection of who we are and what we value. We thus create environments that not only protect us but also reflect and reinforce the best of our aspirations and spiritual values. This is particularly important in a world where we are constantly bombarded by stimuli and offers that may divert us from the path we truly wish to follow. Wisdom in gift-giving, therefore, transcends simple object selection. It permeates all aspects of our lives, enriching our personal and spiritual journey. This wisdom is not a shield against the external world but a catalyst for deeper and more meaningful internal growth. It protects our integrity and well-being, ensuring that the energies around us sustain and promote our peace and evolution. Ultimately, each conscious choice we make strengthens our autonomy and reaffirms our commitment to the life we choose to create. By honoring our discernment and intuition, we not only navigate the world more securely but also actively shape the environment around us to be a true expression of our most authentic selves. Therefore, as we move forward, may each of us continue to make choices that reflect not only who we are but who we aspire to be, maintaining a space that is both a sanctuary and a reflection of our true essence. May wisdom guide each gift we choose to accept, each object we decide to keep, and each piece we choose to let go.